Hey, everybody, welcome. This is Michigan's AutoTalk podcast, and believe it or not, this is episode 70. Every episode of our podcast, Michigan's AutoTalk, is about celebrating the automobile, everything automotive, and also about helping and supporting you, car and truck owners across our great state of Michigan. We've been talking a lot about trucks on the podcast lately. I'm Phil Tower. Al Schwinkendorf is here. Our other host, John Puick, has this episode off, and I think two previous episodes, we talked about the Ford Raptor R. This is the F-150 Raptor R. The Raptor's been around for some time, but this is one that's kind of shaking the truck world, and it's a pretty exciting announcement. We're very pleased to welcome to the podcast. And I know Al, who drives an F-150, is already salivating with tons of questions. For the marketing director for the Ford F-150, Brian Bell is able to join us in this episode. We're really excited about that. Brian, you got a cool job. Thank you for taking the time to join us.
Thank you so much for having me on. And I like to say I got the best job in the auto industry, right? When you're connected to F-150 in a marketing position, it doesn't get better.
Yeah, the best-selling pickup truck in America for many, many years. And, I mean, just truly an iconic brand when you think about pickups. The latest years are, Ford, you guys just keep making this truck amazing. And it's kind of the point now where occasionally you see some of the F-150s from the 70s. You go, oh, those are pretty cool, but day to day, nobody would want to trade that 75 F-150 for a 2022 F-150.
Well, nostalgia drives people with vehicles, and they think they want that old car. And quite frankly, the entry-level Kia is a nicer vehicle to drive than, a 68 F-100. But when I was a kid, and all we could afford was stripped down, used old, rubber floor mats, no radio F-150s. We always dreamed of high-powered V8s and electric differential locks and all this stuff that we have now. I go to the dealership, I buy the thing, and it's like my dream truck right there. And then every year they just keep getting better.
We pride ourselves on continuously improving the vehicles, right? We listen to our customers. We learn from our customers. How do they use their vehicle? What can we do to make it a better experience for them to help them do that job better? We think of F-150 as a tool to do a job in a lot of ways, right? And our goal is to make that the best tool in your toolbox. It doesn't matter which F-150 you pick. That's really what we're after.
That's a great point. So let's, real quickly, we don't have a lot of time to spend with you. Let's talk about the Raptor R. This thing is amazing. It has 700 horsepower. It's basically the monster version of the Raptor, which is pretty amazing as it comes, and you can dress those things up all kinds of different ways. I've seen a lot of different Raptors. What makes the Raptor R, Brian Bell, so special?
That we're really excited to bring the Raptor R back. This is our third generation Raptor. We launched the first one in 2010. I was actually working on F-150. I was the marketing person back then, right? So I've launched all three Raptors. And the Raptor R is just this great opportunity for us to really just go, really, really big with the powertrain in it. So we put the 5.2 supercharged V8 in the vehicle. It's a version of the engine that's in the Shelby GT500. The really smart engineers at Ford Performance have done some work to it to make it really kind of, better in an off-road world instead of on a track. So they did some things to increase the low and mid-range torque with it. But what a fantastic motor. And basically, like I said earlier, we did this because our customers, our current Raptor with the 3.5 EcoBoost high output engine, it's fantastic. And we're going to continue selling that. I think it's going to be the volume. But we have this group of customers that really wanted a V8 back in the Raptor. So we're delivering not just a V8, we're delivering a massive, phenomenal V8.
Big time. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. And it's pretty sweet on the inside as well. It's got, it's special treatments. Let's talk a little bit about the interior and what stands out, what's unique for people who are going to be looking at this vehicle.
Sure. So when you look at the Raptor R, those things that stand out, we use a code orange accent, like as an accent color kind of on the exterior and on the interior to really make the vehicle stand out. It is a Raptor, so it has that Raptor look. Small things make a difference to it. So on the interior, you're going to get black Recaro seats, black leather Recaro seats. You're going to get real carbon fiber accents in it. You're going to get some code orange accent stitching around the interior of the vehicle, right? Just some nice, tasteful little things to really make the interior stand out.
Yeah, and I love the looks of it. I love the wheels. In terms of the exterior, I'm looking at a hood scoop. I'm assuming that's probably pretty functional, or at least looks like it could be functional. Tell us about that.
Also, we have a hood scoop on all Raptors. The Raptor with the 3.5 EcoBoost high output, and we have the one on the Raptor R. The hood scoop on the R has to be a little bit bigger to make room for that Raptor R powertrain under there. So it's about an inch taller and a little wider, and it does function as an air extractor for the vehicle. So when you're out running in the desert high speed, you want to be able to get air flowing through that engine compartment. Higher
ground clearance as well, right, Brian Bell?
So the Raptor R comes standard with our 37-inch off-road tire from BF Goodrich. So it's the largest tire you can get on an OEM vehicle.
Wow!
And it has great ground clearance with it. You're looking at ground clearance over 13 inches, basically.
Yeah, but again, you don't have to. The wheels are good, the shocks are good. You don't have to buy the truck and then go put 10 grand into it to make it what it is. It comes that way from the factory. That's what's so awesome.
That is exactly what we tried to do with Raptor from the beginning, and we continue trying to evolve it to give customers that drive off the showroom floor with a warranty and our engineering experience to get all of that great, off-road performance that they're looking for, the big long travel suspension. I mean, our suspension on this vehicle has got 13 inches of travel in the front and 14 in the back, right? So it's got a tremendous amount of suspension
Baja
travel.
Racers had 15 years ago.
Yeah.
Seriously.
That's what the vehicle's patterned after, right? It's patterned after that Baja race truck. It's meant to do those high-speed desert runs, and it's fantastic at it.
Brian Bell is
I just got to have one. What's the process of getting one?
So that they are available now. The dealers are taking orders now for it, and you can go into a dealership and talk to your local dealer about it if you're interested in one. And you can also find out about it on Ford.com.
Which is pretty exciting, knowing that there certainly is going to be strong demand for these. Brian Bell, marketing director for the Ford F-150, joins us here on the Michigan's Auto Talk podcast. I have an idea. Look at this. Al, you got to see this interior. I'm looking at the leather, these Recaro seats.
I've looked at it. It's crazy.
Just the console alone. This looks like it's a super high-end European sedan. I have an idea. Brian, I had an aunt growing up when I was a little kid. We all had a relative, most of us did. You went to their house and everything was covered in vinyl. Remember that, those living rooms? So I have an idea.
Covers.
You offer a Raptor package where when you go mudding in this thing, you can just seal everything in the interior with vinyl, and then when you're done, you just take the vinyl off and it's pristine. There's a money-making opportunity for Ford there.
Yeah, grandma's vinyl wrap on the couch when the grandkids over. I remember it well. It's a good idea right there. I'll talk to our accessory group about that.
Yeah, well, these guys they want a truck they can take mudding, but the question is how many people who buy a Raptor are actually going to do that. I have a feeling it's going to be in the minority. Again, these trucks are available for order, as Al just mentioned, right?
They are, yep. You go to a dealer, you can talk to your dealer about ordering one now. And just so you know, actually about 80% of Raptor customers tell us they take it off-road in some fashion, somewhere, some way,
okay.
some fashion.
All right.
Nice.
Our buyers really do use the truck to do that off-road truck.
You might as well go up to the sand dunes at least once. I got a question for you quickly while you're captive. I've driven a new F-150 every year since 1985. I used to go into the dealership, tell them what I wanted, and if they didn't have it on the lot, they'd find one somewhere else, and I'd have it in days. That has all changed. I have a leased Ford that's due up in December. In about April, I was told I better order my next one because who knows how long it's going to take to get. I've got a sweet, what do they call that? Antimatter blue, Super Crew, hybrid F-150 four-wheeler coming that I can't wait to see. What is the time expectancy for somebody to get a Raptor R? Because I know mine was like maybe 6 months.
Well, I don't have a specific timing for it. We expect to sell about 25% of our Raptors as a Raptor R. It really depends on how soon a customer gets an order in and how many there are. Some of them will start delivering this year. So So
Okay.
some will come, actually pretty recently or pretty close, and then some could be in the next year, depending on, we can only build so many at a time, right?
You might
So
order
kind of just
one and
depends
get
on
a
that schedule.
2022, but it might be a 2023. That's just how the industry is right now.
Yeah, well, Raptor R it's a 23 model year launch vehicle.
Oh,
So
okay.
those will
It's
be
starting as a
23 for sure.
23.
Yep.
Okay, so it will be a 2023, and wherever you are, if you're serious about wanting one, I think you're hearing Brian say now is the time to get into the dealership and order one, and most importantly, Brian Bell, marketing director for the Ford F-150. We want to know when you're in Grand Rapids because we'd love to have you bring one over to Al so he can drive it for an afternoon. Okay.
Well, we're going to read something in Edmunds in the next 2 weeks saying that, they sold out production for the next year and a half because there's so many specifically Raptor owners that are just like, oh, I got to have that because my buddy's going to get one and he can't have a better truck than me. So that's how that works.
Yep. Indeed.
Well, we've got a lot of excited owners for it. I can tell you, you are right about the number of excited owners we have. The Raptor customers are a really loyal group. They love their trucks. They talk about the trucks. They get new versions of it. And there's a lot of them really interested in this Raptor R. So we're really excited to bring it to them.
So that means you're doing your job. How cool is that?
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Like I said, I love this job. It's the best job in the auto industry.
Well,
I bet it is.
We appreciate you taking a couple of minutes of your time, and anytime there's news out of F-150 land, we would love to connect with you here on Michigan's Auto Talk, and we'll definitely stay in touch, Brian. Okay.
That sounds great. Thank you so much.
Okay. Have a great night.
Thank you for coming on. We appreciate it.
Indeed. Brian Bell is the marketing director for the Ford F-150 and that Raptor R, which we were talking about this on the other episode. It's the basic Raptor stickers at 70. This is about what, 105? You said 105,000,
yep.
and
people will pay it.
And people will pay it.
But you know what? The truck that was 30 grand 2-3 years ago is now 50. So, all things being equal.
Yeah, all things being equal. There's
how long were you in Alaska?
We were there about 10 days.
Okay, I was in Vegas for 4 days, and the price of things is just insane.
It's expensive everywhere.
My service writer had a day off yesterday, and I'm sitting there quoting out jobs, and I'm looking. This water pump is $376 for a 5.7 Chrysler Hemi and a 2012 Ram 1500, and it's just like. When I started out, water pumps were like $25. It's insane the inflation and what it's done to things. So I guess it's all just normal.
Yeah, I guess it's all normal, and it's going to be that way for a while. And yes, even in where were we? This was in Juneau, Alaska. We were in a brew pub. A burger was $15, and a beer is whatever, $5 or $6 that a draft beer is. So it's not like you're, at a ballpark paying $15 for a beer. But yeah, everything's more expensive, and vehicles are. But we've already seen the demand is there. The real question is, as mortgage rates go up, what's going to happen to the car buying world, the car and truck buying world, when you can't get 0.9% or remember 12 years ago, whenever it was, during, the Great Recession, they were doing 0% 84 months on some vehicles, Al. Yeah. I mean, it was crazy. So
which got a bunch of people upside down. It was a terrible thing, but whatever.
Yeah, it was.
I got to tell you, I will post on the Facebook page. When I was in Nevada, I was sitting at Johnny Rockets having one of them $20 burgers, and John Force, the funny car winner.
Oh, yeah.
16-time champion, comes in and sits down across the counter from us. And I said, "Hi, John." And he waved at me. And when he was done with dinner, he was there with his publicist. They were doing some business. And he walked out and he goes, "You freaked me out for a minute. I thought you were a guy I went to school with." And he stopped and chatted with us, and it was cool. Yeah. I'll put a picture of him on the or on the Facebook page.
Yeah, I love that. I love that story. What do you got for automotive history in this episode?
August 3rd, this actual day in 1960, Lee Petty and my hero Richard Petty and his brother Maurice were all in a race together for the one and only time. Maurice
Interesting.
became Richard's mechanic. Lee got in a really bad crash in Daytona and quit driving because it messed him up. And but for one time, the father and two sons were in the exact same race together in Birmingham, Alabama.
Yeah.
1971 was the first drive on the moon. Remember the lunar rover? I used to have my mom buy Tang, and I hated it, but I drank it because you got those rubber band powered, the coolest little lunar rovers. Do you remember those?
Oh, of course I do.
They were wrapped on the side.
I'm old enough to remember Space Sticks. Remember when those they marketed those?
We eat the Space Sticks and dip them in the, what was that orange stuff called? Tang. Yeah, it's what the guys. But if you got Tang, you got those little lunar rovers. They were gray and white.
I remember those.
Wind up a rubber band.
I remember them very well.
One.
Yeah.
Yep, and we're showing our age. And in 2003, the very last production of the Type 1 Beetle, the flat windshield original Volkswagen, not the Super Beetle, that they continued to make in Mexico. I think the last Type 1 in Europe and the United States was probably 71, but they continued in Mexico to 2003, and they made the very last one.
Okay, so what's the one they make now? That's called the Super Beetle? Is that what it is?
No, the Super Beetle was, they put a round windshield in it so they could push the dash forward and give you a little bit more room. And instead of the torsion bar front end that the Volkswagens always had, they put McPherson struts in it, and they fuel injected the engine. So that's the Super Beetle. If it's got a round windshield, it's the Super Beetle. Now, the new ones I heard they're going to kill again, but are just called Beetles, you know, the later model ones. Okay.
And yeah, you were saying, that's right, I forgot about it. They did make them in Mexico for quite a while. It's, you know, it's strange, the cars you see in other countries that, you know, are just kind of left there.
In the 80s in Mexico, if they died, they were just sitting on the side of the road, or they'd push them off the side of a mountain. I remember the very first time I went to, I think it was Ixtapa, and we're driving down the mountain from the airport into the town, and there was this body shop. I mean, there's a Chevrolet dealer right next door that looks like something in America, but there's a sign that says body shop, and there's a guy in a lean-to with a thatched roof on it, and he's spraying Volkswagen Beetles, like 3 of them, yellow because they were taxis, and his free-range chickens are driving around, and they were yellow too because they got in the way, and he just sprayed them. I mean, I just was blown away. I couldn't believe it.
All right, well, that will put the wraps on this episode 70 of Michigan's Auto Talk podcast. Look for the picture of Al and who was the guy?
John Force.
John Force. Yep. Spotted Al's brush with the famous out in Vegas, and he'll post that for you on our Facebook page. You can also leave us a suggestion for a future episode. Whatever ideas you have, comments, questions about your vehicle that we can answer in an upcoming episode, facebook.com/Michigan's Auto Talk. And it's as simple as that.
I think it would be really good to gather some of those up. People come in and give us your questions, and we can do an episode or two where all we do is Steve from Drenthey wants to know about blah, 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 and we can discuss it. It'd be great.
Yep, I love it. So we put the, again, that's your homework assignment. What are those car questions you have, whether it's about a car you own, a car you want to buy, let us know. And you can message us, again, Michigan's Auto Talk on Facebook. It's as simple as that. You can follow us there as well, which you should be doing as well. You can hear our podcast, all of the previous episodes before episode number 70, which you're hearing right now, available wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. That'll put the wraps on this episode. I'm producer Phil Tower.
I'm Al Schwinkendorf.
Have a good one.